I am Arkad. In the age of Babylon, men called me the richest in the city. But I was not born to gold. I was born to dust, a humble scribe with an empty purse. What I learned over a lifetime, I will teach thee here. The laws that filled my purse can fill thine, if thou art willing to listen. Thou hast found thy way to Babylon, not the ruins tourists photograph today, the living city where merchants counted copper by lamplight, where chariots rattled through gates at dawn, where a man could rise from nothing if he understood what gold demanded of him. I did not inherit wealth. I copied clay tablets for merchants who barely knew my name. I ate what I could afford. I slept where I could afford. My purse was as thin as the papyrus I pressed each day. And yet, in time, men sought my counsel. They asked how a scribe became the richest in Babylon. They asked what the wealthy knew that the laborer did not. The answer is not a secret locked in a king's vault. It is a set of laws, simple enough to carve in clay, strong enough to outlast empires. Babylon was not wealthy because the gods favored us above all peoples. Babylon was wealthy because we learned to respect gold, to earn it, to keep it, to make it labor for us, and to guard it from folly. Walk with me through the markets of my city for a moment. The baker who rises before the sun, the brickmaker who sells his work to builders of temples and walls, the musician at the gate playing for copper that disappears by evening, the chariot builder whose hands are honest and whose purse is often empty. I have known them all. I was one of them. Tell me, dost thou see thyself among them? The worker who earns, the earner who spends, the citizen who wonders at month's end where the gold has gone. If so, thou art in the right place. For I did not write these teachings for princes alone. I learned them as a poor man, and they changed everything. Why did financial wisdom take root here, in Babylon? Because we were a city of trade. Gold moved through our gates from every direction. A man could grow rich in a season, or lose everything before the next moon. We had no choice but to learn. The desert does not forgive waste, neither does a merchant who lends at interest. In Babylon we wrote agreements on clay. We weighed silver on honest scales. We taught our sons that a full purse was not a gift, it was the harvest of discipline. The book thou knowest as The Richest Man in Babylon was born from this soil. Not myth, not fable for children. Lessons hardened by merchants who survived when others did not. I am Arkad, the voice of those lessons on this channel. Not a king, not a prophet. A merchant who paid attention when others paid only their creditors. Here, I will speak to thee directly, as I once spoke to friends at the city gate. Bansir, the chariot builder, who worked from dawn to dusk and still had nothing. Algamish, the moneylender, who was stern but fair. Others whose stories still hold a mirror to thy world. Some episodes will follow the book faithfully, cure by cure, law by law. That is Series A, the foundation. Then we will turn the lens outward. Credit cards, debt, inflation, markets thou cannot see or touch, the temptations of thy age examined through Babylonian eyes. That is Series B, and it has no end, so long as men and women still misplace their gold. The names change, the tools change, the laws do not. A part of all thou earnest is thine to keep, before thou payest the landlord, the baker, the cloth merchant, or any other man. That principle is older than Babylon's walls. and it is where we will begin in earnest. But first, thou must know who stands before thee. I am not here to shame thee for a lean purse. I have carried one. I am not here to sell thee a miracle. Miracles are the business of priests and charlatans. I am here to teach what worked when I was young and poor, and what still works, whether thy wages come in copper, paper, or digits on a screen thou cannot hold. Dost thou believe ancient wisdom can speak to modern purses? I believe it must, for men have always earned, men have always spent, and men have always wondered why some purses grow heavy while others remain empty. Let us find out, together. In the episodes ahead, I will introduce thee to the 7 cures for a lean purse, the habits that fatten a man's store of gold over time. Thou wilt hear of the 5 laws of gold, what gold will do for the disciplined man, and what it will refuse to do for the fool. Thou wilt meet Bansir, who represents every honest worker who asks the question I once asked, why am I still broke? Thou wilt meet Algamish, who lent me my first lesson in paying myself before I paid the world. His words were hard. They were also true. We will tell the story of Dabasir, a man chained by debt who carved his freedom in clay. His shame is ancient. His plan is still practical. These are not lectures meant for scholars in distant towers. They are talks, face to face, as thou seest me now, for anyone who earns, spends, hopes, and sometimes fails. Series A will walk through the book, 14 episodes, 1 lesson at a time. No skipping the foundation to chase what is fashionable. When that foundation is laid, Series B begins. Then I will ask what Arkad would think of thy credit card, what Algamish would say of easy loans with hidden teeth, what Bansir would do when every man on the street seems richer than he. Ancient wisdom, modern wealth. That is the promise of this channel. I will not tell thee which stock to buy. I will not name a coin and call it destiny. I will teach thee how to think, how to keep, how to choose, how to wait, how to act. The wealthy of every age share certain habits. The poor of every age share certain mistakes. Babylon saw both. So does thy city. If thou takest one thing from this introduction, let it be this. The laws of gold have not changed in 4,000 years. Empires have fallen. Currencies have vanished. New machines have arrived to tempt thee with speed. And still, the man who pays himself first, who lives below his means, who guards his treasure from foolish ventures, who seeks counsel before he risks his store, that man builds a future. The man who ignores these truths builds only excuses. Thou needst not be rich to begin. I was not. Thou needst only be willing to learn, and to practice what thou learnest, even when it is inconvenient, especially then. Art thou willing? If so, stay. Subscribe, that thou mayest not lose the thread when the next lesson arrives. The next episode belongs to Bansir. He will speak of desire, the hunger for gold that every man feels, and the emptiness that remains when work alone is mistaken for wisdom. I will see thee there. Until then, start thy purse to fattening, even if thou beginnest with a single coin, especially if thou beginnest with a single coin. The work begins.